Hello and welcome to WMCT Sports Weekly. We bring the action of high school sports from Marlboro, Aspet Valley, and AMSA to your living room. I'm your host, Matt Bisaccio. This week we have boys soccer highlights from AMSA and Marlboro High, as well as highlights from last Friday's football game between the Panthers and the Crusaders of Groton-Dunstable. But first, we had to Panthers practice where we caught up with senior captain Lou Vigent in our latest player profile.
Senior captain Lou Vigent has developed into a star on both sides of the ball for the Marlboro Panthers, but he sees himself as just another teenager.
Pretty normal kid. Hang out with my friends after school, you know, the normal high school life, I guess, nothing special.
His interests extend well beyond the field. He talks to us about what and where he plans on studying next year.
Probably engineering.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of plans do you have with that?
Plan on going to college next year to do engineering, and then hopefully be an engineer after that.
That's cool. Any schools that you're considering at this point?
Right now, my top school is RPI, Rensselaer. It's in Albany, New York.
Vigent has excelled as a linebacker and as the Panthers' lead back. But if he had to choose one, well, Lou had a quick answer to that question.
Oh, linebacker by far. Yeah. I love making tackles. That's an easy one.
Making people pay?
Oh yeah.
Coming off back-to-back losses, the Panthers captain knows what he and his team needs to do to stay on track.
It's all about staying positive. We understand that we lost those games. There's no one to blame, but you just got to stay positive and improve every week.
Being the nephew of Mayor Vigent, it's natural to ask, could there possibly be a future in politics?
Not at all. Not at all. No, he's good at what he does, but it's not my thing.
So far this season, Lou has the most rushing attempts and the fourth most rushing yards in Central Mass. He's also leading the Panthers in tackles and is tied for the team lead in interceptions. Now, after smashing on their first three opponents by a combined score of 58-8, the Panthers struggled offensively in weeks 4 and 5, just averaging 14.5 points per game against division foes Neshoba and Fitchburg. They look to turn things around as they travel to Groton to take on the Crusaders.
Both teams were fired up before kickoff, but the Panthers came out and quieted the crowd early. With their first possession, Marlboro goes 62 yards on 11 plays, capped off by Richie Weber as he keeps it on the draw, putting the away team up 7. After forcing a Crusader punt, Marlboro goes on the attack again. This time, Weber finds his tight end, Hunter Reynolds, on the slant route, and Hunter breaks free. He stiff arms one defender and takes it all the way inside the 10. 2 plays later, it's senior Lou Vigent who trots in for the score. He'd finished the night with 154 yards on 19 carries, and the Panthers jump out to a 14-0 first quarter lead. Right before the end of the half, the Crusaders would drive downfield and threaten to score with a first and goal opportunity, but the Panthers D stepped up. On first down, Rainer Luna and Misal Teo converge on the sack. After a Crusader timeout, Groton quarterback Bradley Tedice tries to buy himself some time by rolling out, but he can't find a receiver, and by the time he decides to run, there's no openings. Another sack that pushes the Crusaders back, setting up a 4th and long. On 4th down, Tedice chucks it up into the end zone, and number 13, J.J. Jarman, picks it off, finishing off a first half of dominance for Marlboro, who owned a 2-score lead. The second half was a continuation of the first. Here, number 44, Brandon Cavicchio, takes it up the middle 12 yards for the touchdown. He'd end the night with 57 yards on 12 carries. And later in the fourth, number 6, Trevor Nutt, comes in for Vigent and plunges ahead for this 7-yard touchdown carry. The Panthers snap their 2-game skid and take this one 28-0.
The Panthers are now 2-2 in league play and 4-2 overall. They look to finish off their league schedule this week with a win on homecoming night against North Middlesex. Coming up after the break, we'll head to the pitch with this week's soccer highlights from Marlboro and AMSA. Thanks for staying with us. This week, 2 first-place teams took the pitch looking to build on their great seasons. First, we'll head over to Whitcomb Middle School, where the Panthers took on the Patriots of North Middlesex High.
Temps were in the mid-30s for this Midwalk B contest, and Marlboro looked to keep their undefeated record at home alive. Early on, it's Isaac Gomez who shoves number 5 in the back while in the box, giving the Patriots a chance to grab a quick lead. The penalty kick was successful, and North Middlesex has the lead at 1-0. In the 13th minute, Marlboro has a corner kick, and the placement is just incredible. Right to Gabriel Pino, and he drives the header home, knotting this one up at 1. Towards the end of the half, The Panthers were on the attack when Kevin Santillan gets tripped up in the box. They too would get a penalty kick, and this time it's Pedro Pino who takes care of business. Marlboro would go up 2-1 and take that lead into the break. The Panther faithful were out supporting their team despite the cold weather, and the home club made it worth their while. The Patriots did have some chances to score in the second half, but they were all denied by Panther keeper Victor Barros. In the 7th minute, Pedro makes this pass between 4 defenders that sets up the easy chance. Andre Faria drops it off to Renato Resendiz, and all Renato has to do from there is just tap it in. And that put the Panthers up by 3. Just a few minutes after that, Marlboro again has possession deep in Patriot territory. Faria delivers another beauty of a pass, this time to Gabriel Pino, who gets the ball on net, and then it's Andre Lima who's there to clean it up. The Panthers would tack on 2 more and take this one going away 6-1.
With the win, Marlboro stays ahead of Westboro in Midwalk B play. On Tuesday, the first-place Eagles of AMSA played over at 4 Kicks, where they look to get back in the win column.
Both teams seen here shaking hands before the game, but this would prove to be a tense and at times chippy match. In just the 2nd minute, number 22 for AMSA lobs it over 3 defenders, right in front of the net, and number 23 Colby Ryan connects on the header to put the Eagles up early, 1-0. Later in the 18th minute, Joe Hall slips the pass to captain Drew Meyer, and Drew launches an absolute missile that hits off the keeper's arm, bounces in, and midway through the half, AMSA had a 2-goal advantage. Coach Bono looks on as his team would lose that lead right before the end of the half. First, it's Belzy Moran who gets the pass on the break. He makes a move to his right, the keeper bites on the fake, and Moran rips it in to cut the deficit in half at 2-1. A few minutes later, this foul in the box would result in a penalty kick. It's Sam Gonzalez who converts, and just like that, the game was all knotted up going into the break. AMSA again started the half strong. This time, Joe Hall controls the deflected pass, fires from distance, and skips it past the goalie to put the home team back up by 1. The game was physical throughout, but in the second half, it almost got out of hand. Tempers would flare, but thankfully, cooler heads would prevail. AMSA would get the last laugh as Joe Hall dishes the sweet pass to Meyer, who gathers and finds the back of the net. The Eagles improved to 9-1 in league play.
Great job by the boys of AMSA to stay focused and come away with the W. Before we go, let's take a look back at me from a few weeks ago after the Patriots lost to the Lions and dropped to 1-2. This team looks so slow on defense. Hightower is either hurt or cooked. The offense has been boring and ineffective. They can't stretch the field because Patterson and Dorsett are bums. And Sony Michel looks more like a bust than a stud. Well, they did it again. The Patriots, after dropping back-to-back games, have now ripped off 3 in a row, including the Sunday night shootout against Mahomes and the Chiefs. To be fair, Dorsett and Patterson are bums. I was just totally wrong about Sony and Jules. Sony has turned into a reliable 3-down back, and Julian Edelman's return has had an obvious impact on other guys getting open, primarily Gronk. Now, the Patriot offense will face a much bigger test this week as they play the Khalil Mack-led Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. If they show out against that defense, then this team should be the favorite to represent the AFC in Super Bowl 53. Let's take a look at what you had to say in this week's WMCT Sports Twitter poll. It asked, after beating the Chiefs, are the Patriots your favorite to win the AFC? And it looks like the Patriots are your favorite by a landslide. If you would like to take part and vote on our weekly polls, you can follow our team on Twitter at WMCT Sports, and you can give me a follow at MBasaccio WMCT. For WMCT Sports, I'm Matt Basaccio. Have a great weekend.